124 mayors have served this city. He is the first to be born in Miami. I could not be prouder than to announce to you the 90th President of the United States Conference of Mayors, Mayor Francis Suarez.
It's beautiful to be here and wonderful to be with all of you today. I really have so many people to thank, and if I don't begin with my wife, I'm not sleeping in bed tonight. So let me begin with my beautiful and lovely wife. I want to say a little bit about mayors. Recently former mayor, Bill Peduto of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, once told me, you know, Mr. Mayor, in America, there's three parties. I said, really, Bill? What are they? He goes, there's Republicans, there's Democrats, and there's mayors. Here at the Conference of Mayors, we are like a mayoral support group. They're laughing because they know exactly what I'm talking about. We not only promulgate best practices through the leadership of Tom, the conference, and his executive staff, which is phenomenal. Why don't we give them a round of applause for this incredible event? Thank you, Tom. But we're there for each other. We lean on each other. It's not just about what the best policy is. It's also about what you're going through. Leadership can be a lonely venture. And having someone to talk to, having someone to commiserate with, having someone to bounce things off of is incredibly important. Every single event that I've gone to, and I know the mayors can relate, it's, you know, we talk about the issues that are before us. We talk about our struggles. We talk about our successes and our failures. I think it was LeBron James that once said, I'm just a young man from Akron. I'm not supposed to be here. So there's a lot of reasons why I shouldn't be here. You know, we all always like to talk about the reasons why we should be here, why our own decisions, our own actions led us to this moment. But today I want to talk about the reasons why I shouldn't be here. The first goes back to something that happened today. Today, a young man, junior in high school, got accepted into my alma mater. He was a young man who had an issue at another school. And thankfully, the school that I went to, after some poking and prodding, welcomed him with open arms for the first day of the next semester. That was me 27 years ago. I was that boy trying to figure out what I was going to do with myself, who I was going to be, what I was about. And so you see someone up here, and I think sometimes you get the impression that we're perfect or that we have this perfection about us. But the truth is we're all struggling day in and day out to make sure that we can be the best versions of ourselves. The second, what my godfather would call Godfidence, is, and this is, I think my chief of staff, or my former chief of staff, reminded me of this morning, Mike Llorente. I don't know if he's back there somewhere. Where are you, Mike? I know you're here somewhere. There you go. My first chief of staff. He reminded me this morning, I got into a little argument with him because I said I had gotten elected by 262 votes when I first ran. People always talk about the fact that I got elected by 85% or the fact that I got reelected by 80% or close to 80%. People often forget that I was first elected by 260 votes. Mark remembers that. 260 votes. So if 261 people, less than the size of the crowd here today, would have just stayed home, not voted, I probably wouldn't be here today. If 131 people would have changed their mind, I definitely would not have been here today. But we always focus on the successes. We never focus on the failures. We choose to forget that the first time that I ran for mayor didn't turn out so good. And that the first time that I tried to become a strong mayor didn't work out so well. And I remember having those conversations with Steve before I tried to do that. And the reason why I say that is because our strength is forged in our adversity. Today, as I was preparing to speak, and of course read through the prompted speech a bunch of times, I saw someone in the back over there who happened to be laying down, and I walked up to him and I said, "It looks pretty comfortable." He had, it was breezy, the temperature was nice, he had found some shade. He says, "It's not really comfortable." And I said to him, "What's your name? Where are you from?" He said, "My name is Tyler, and I'm from," get this, Dayton. Dayton, Ohio. Some people here understand the significance of hearing that today because the outgoing president is from Dayton, Ohio. So I took it as a sign and I asked him, "What led you to be in this state?" And he said, "I have 4 brothers and they picked on me relentlessly. Relentlessly." He said, "I didn't have to worry about bullying at school." He said, "I actually later on had to worry about bullying at school, but I was bullied at home." And so when you think about people like that and our mission to eradicate homelessness and to eradicate it across America, you think about how difficult it is, how far behind some people are, and how sometimes they just need someone to listen, just to hear them, and to find a way to get them back to where they need to be. Our Miami story has evolved. It's evolved from mayor to mayors that are not here, like Mayor Foray and his wife, who one of my staff members spoke to today. She gave me this beautiful tie, which is actually my favorite tie. And our story has metamorphosized from generation to generation, decade to decade. But our success is replicable, and it's simple, and it's based on some very, very basic principles. The first is we've kept taxes low. We have reduced taxes. We've reduced taxes to the second lowest rate since the 1960s. And you know what's happened? This is going to shock you. Our budget has doubled in size. So we have more resources for the Tylers of the world. And in fact, since 2003, right after Mayor Diaz took office, to today, we've reduced poverty by 50% in the city of Miami. 50%. The second thing we've done is, and unfortunately, and I don't mean to make this partisan in any way, and I don't think this hopefully will be, but while other cities have decided to defund their police, we have decided we are going to increase funding for our police. And I'm going to shock you with another correlation. We just added 30 new police officers. We've increased funding for our police, and thanks to the leadership of our interim chief, Manny Morales, who's in the back there. Thank you, Chief. When he took over, we were +1 in homicides from last year, and we just ended the year 25% down in homicides year over year. Now, all of us know what's happening across this country. That, unfortunately, is not something that we're seeing across America. And we all need to work together. We all need to work hard to empower our police officers. They have, quite frankly, the hardest job in America. You can clap for that. I would. Never has an employee been asked to do so much for so little with so much scrutiny in the history of our world. The third thing we've done is we have become a pro-innovation city. I have a 3-year-old who's not here today. And every single day, she shows me how to take a selfie with her pacifier. Now, if that doesn't convince you that technology is here to stay, then I don't know what else will. It's not a partisan thing. It's not a Republican thing. It's not a Democratic thing. It's a reality. Our world is changing. Our world is being disrupted. And the rate of disruption is accelerating. And so we have two choices as cities. We can pretend it's not existing and bury our head in the sand, or we can embrace that change. We can get ahead of the curve, and we can have a generation of prosperity and success for our children and our unborn grandchildren. Because of that attitude, our city is number one in the nation in tech job growth, number one in the nation in tech job migration. We've created thousands of high-paying jobs. Our unemployment rate is 3.7%, almost a full point. Almost a full point less than the entire state of Florida, which is at 4.5%. We've moved over $1 trillion in assets under management companies to South Florida and have set ourselves up to become the epicenter of capital for a generation to come. But all of the things that have made Miami successful are easily to replicate. They can be done in any American city. Here we have a brand that we call Miami Forever. But we now, working with the mayors of this country, need to create an agenda that we call America Forever. And our America Forever brand is not just America Forever. It's an America that's here for everyone. And we're going to do it by embodying a lot of the same principles that made our city successful. And we're going to lean into things like urban air mobility and boring to solve some of our transportation issues. We're going to tackle inflation, which is something that's making the poor poorer in our country. Those that have a bank account, unfortunately, are losing purchasing power every single day, and they're not earning interest, which is why they're seeking alternative investments like crypto. Something that the city of Miami has also leaned into. And I'm gonna ask my friends, my brothers and sisters, the mayors of this country, to sign on to a mayoral crypto compact, because we need to lead in the absence of leadership. We need to make sure that a generation of prosperity and innovation is not lost because of a lack of innovative spirit. We need to make sure that our regulatory system embodies success into the future instead of stifling success as other countries like China have done by banning Bitcoin and banning Bitcoin mining. This competition that's in front of us, this collaboration that's in front of us, is one that we need to embark on together. And it's not about us, it's not about one city, it's about our children, and it's about their children. And if we ensure that we work together, that we embody the American spirit that we have etched inside of our hearts and souls, every person here has their version of what the American dream is. And for some reason, we have been made to believe that there's something wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's wonderful. We live in a great country, and we should be proud of it. It's a country that embraced my parents, my grandparents that were jailed in a jail in Cuba. And it's a country that is going to innovate its way into the future and lead us to tremendous prosperity. Last, I'll tell you that we all have a duty in our life to inspire. Yes, government is a corporation. We do certain things. We pick up the garbage. We keep you safe. We hopefully process your permits fast, right? Never fast enough. But why are you guys all smiling and yawning out of your head? But we as elected officials in America, the mayors of America, our primary duty, and I've learned this from Steve and Brian and Mayor Diaz and Doug and everyone who's here, our primary duty is to inspire. To inspire each and every one of us to reach and to dream and to love and to be compassionate of others, to make sure that we stop focusing on the things that divide us and start focusing on the things that unite us. And there are many more things that unite us than divide us. If we do that together, our tomorrows will be far better than our yesterdays. Thank you and God bless you. Today is a magnificent day. I'm humbled to represent the mayors of America. I'm humbled to represent my city in front of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, which is a national and international organization that fights for the issues that we care about. Just this year alone, we were able to generate $140 million in federal funding for our city that can help a tremendous amount of people.